Dan Illman, Mike Beer kicking off a 50-cent pick 4 at Gulfstream Park on Saturday with graded stakes action. Let's take a look at the field for race number 8, the Grade 3 Rampart Stakes. Fillies and mares going a one-turn mile. Big competitive field in here, Mike. Surprised that the morning line favors the 9, Baccarat Fashion. I mean, I know she popped a 97 Beyer speed figure last time out, but she was 11-1 that day against optional claimers, and this is going to be her stakes debut. Looking at this race, I saw a lot of pace.
I did too. I mean, we'll see if that works against the morning line favorite, and then I guess we'll see if she goes off the favorite. I sort of get it that they made her a short price just because, you know, she's obviously improved since Peter Walter took over, and if she runs anything like that last race, she's a very likely winner in here.
Well, she's going to have to do it from a little bit further back than Timeform US has her in 4th early, and she's shown the ability to sit from off the pace. Yeah. I agree with this. Cookie Dough, the number 11, she is a fast horse. She is at her best when she's on the lead, and I would have to think that Paco Lopez is going to be on a send mission in here. Tweeting's fast. I'm not sure she's as fast as Cookie Dough.
I don't think she is either, and it does feel like maybe the outside post just, you know, doesn't really give Paco that many options. He might just come out of there running and try to make the front. Then we'll see if she's good enough.
Let's talk about this field in post position order. The filly that was smashed by Baccarat Fashion as the favorite last time out is the number 1, Unholy Alliance. Multiple stakes placed earlier in the year. She was coming off a really long layoff running against Baccarat Fashion. I guess she can improve second off the layoff for a barn that had a breakout 2019.
I think she can improve second on the layoff. We'll see what she does. You know, going back to that race, not only was she off the layoff in there, and obviously, listen, she was just never going to beat Baccarat Fashion in that race, but you know, it's hard to tell what happened. I don't know if you maybe got a better look at it than I did. I couldn't find a head-on replay, but as she was tracking the pace there, it looked like on the far turn, either she tried to bolt or something happened, and basically Zayas had to take her out of the race almost. She got back into it and then just got really tired at the end. I'd be willing to give her a pass for that, Dan, and just think she's going to run a lot better second off the layoff.
If this fast pace, this red bar situation comes to pass, we know she can kick from the back of the pack. Bullet workout in 46 and change indicates she's probably heading into this race the right way. The 2 is Shamrock Babe going out for a very good trainer in Kelly Breen. This horse exits a key race at Laurel towards the end of September. The winner of that race, Arafana, came back to beat Tweeting, who we'll talk about a little bit, winning with an 85 Beyer speed figure. Shamrock Babe's Beyers are just kind of light this year.
Yeah, and she's just not going to turn out to be that good on dirt, although she is a 2-time winner on the main track since they switched over. I don't know, Dan, I don't really love any of her races. You're covering Laurel a lot closer than I am these days. Did she have any excuse? I didn't think she ran that well in that race. She wasn't going to beat Arafana, but I didn't think she ran that well.
She was just in too tough, and she just wasn't even threatening for second. I wonder if she just kind of reached the plateau on dirt, and that now winner's a 2 other than level. But again, maybe if there's a little bit of a pace collapse, she can come late. My issue with that theory is that she seems to like to be forwardly placed. The 3 is Perspire, 4-1 against Baccarat Fashion last time out. Just never got into the running that day. Maybe she doesn't like Gulfstream West. She did win her maiden there, but she has some good races at Gulfstream. Another horse taking a big step up in class. You're going to have to prove it to me, even at the big price.
I agree with that. She didn't do really any running last time, but there are ways to excuse it, I guess. If nothing else, she seems to really like the 1-turn mile on this track.
I think a lot of folks are going to look at the number 4 Pink Sands, and especially with that win in the Ladies' Secret at Monmouth, coming from last to first to win, and the fact that she's been in against some tough horses. Couple of graded stakes, Wildcat in one of them, My Lady Curlin, Go Google Yourself in the other, and then last time out in a key race, Saguaro Road, who didn't come back to win, came back to run second in the Grade 3 Go for Juan with an 86 Beyer speed figure. I think a lot of folks are going to look at her races and say she's the best closer in a race jammed with speed, and it's about time that she reaches her potential over a track that she loves.
I mean, I can't argue with looking at her that way for sure, especially if she's going to be 8-1. She doesn't really have any speed at all. I do sort of prefer her 7 furlongs to maybe 8 furlongs around 1 turn. It feels like what she wants. If she can catch a little pace, she'll come running. At the end of the day, she's just not that good, but maybe this race will set up great for her.
Let's take a look at Pink Sands' most recent start, the Pumpkin Pie. This was the race Saguaro Road won, and really, again, there was some pace for her to run at. She's last, and she's going to finish 3rd. I think she was just overmatched on this day, and maybe while this is a grade stake and the Pumpkin Pie was a listed, I think it's probably a lateral class move for her, and especially give her some pace. I too, at the 1-turn mile at Gulfstream, like her a lot, but it's not like she was really doing a lot of running.
I mean, she's really not, and there was actually a pretty good pace in this race. The winner, Saguaro Row, who won easily, by the way, was off of it and came with a nice run, and you saw that, you know, Pink Sand was just kind of plugging along there to get 3rd. She never looked like she was going to win.
Bella Chow's sort of an interesting 20-1 shot. She came off a rather lengthy layoff at Gulfstream West to do this most recently in an allowance race. And I thought Bella Ciao looked good in that 7 furlong race. We turn into the stretch. She's on the outside. She's going to sweep by him. She got a good pace to attack that day. Second off the layoff, back at Gulfstream, she's run some decent races. She's been tested against good horses. Maybe it's a meltdown, but why can't she get a piece of the price?
Yeah, I think she can. I think that's the right way to look at her, too, because it is one of those situations. This is, her first race since March. And I thought it was basically a nice step forward. Now, she's going to have to improve again to beat this field, but I don't see why she can't do that. She was they got a lot of racing out of her early, and I thought she actually ran pretty well. I think she could really improve in this race.
Molto Bella is the number 6, another horse that came off a lengthy layoff for trainer Ian Wilkes. Scored last time out at Churchill Downs. Really liked the race she ran. Brian Hernandez had her in behind horses all the way till about the 3/16 pole. Once she was able to split and get out, she very easily ran down those horses. It was a nice effort off the layoff, equaling a career best Beyer speed figure. I love her stalking ability, and I think that last race just has her on tilt. I don't think she ran so hard that you would expect a regression.
I agree with all that stuff. I mean, to me, she just looks very logical in this race. She has a lot of improvement still in her, it looks like, and she's another one of those horses who just looks like, 7 to 8 furlongs, maybe around 1 turn is what she really wants.
Viva Forever, a cool 5-year-old mare. She's won 11 of 39 lifetime starts. I wonder, though, if she's getting a little bit long in the tooth, despite winning this race around 2 turns at Thistledown last time out. She won nicely, 69 Beyer, had a really good trip up close to a moderate pace. They're going to be going a lot faster early. She might have to come from further back.
The good news for her is that she can run faster races than this. She's got plenty of figures that sort of put her right in the mix in this race. Back in Walder's barn now. The last time Peter Walder had her for those 3 starts, she ran really well at 7 furlongs at Gulfstream, and they just threw her into a couple of Grade 1 races that she couldn't possibly win.
Tweeting tried 2 turns last time out at Laurel, and I wonder if the mile and a 16th at this point in her career is a little bit too far. She was also in against odds-on Arafana, who came out of this race to run second in the Grade 3 comely with an 87 Beyer. Tweeting got loose in here, and I think that helped her out. Arafana, though, loomed boldly at her at the 5/16. Looked like she was going to win by several lengths.
Yeah.
Arafana refused to quit. My issue with her is, boy, does she like to run second.
I don't like that about her either. And I'll give her all the credit she deserves for hanging in there gamely in this race against a heavily favored horse, but she really had all the best of it here on a slow pace.
And also, I go back to a race at Gulfstream in February, a situation again. She's favored. She's controlling the pace. Pink Sands ran her over that day. I think she's good. I think she fits with her best race, but I wonder if she fits best underneath in your single race exotics. Baccarat Fashion is the hot horse in this race. Listen, she wasn't very fast early. Peter Walder got her. The first race was an unmitigated disaster. She just bolted. Yeah. Throw that race out, she wins at 23-1, and she wins this race at 11-1 with a 97 Beyer speed figure. It's time to take this horse seriously. She chased a loose leader. She just put that one away, and she's under a full drive to win by almost 10 lengths. She hops back to her left lead late. We're going to see about the mile. I think it's a big question mark. But look at these works. 4 furlongs, 45, 5, and 58 and 3. She's seeing dead red.
Yeah, clearly she's going really good right now for Walder. Whatever the key was to her, Walder had it. And he's gotten her just in razor sharp form right now. I'm with you. I'm a little worried about the mile as she stretches out. But and listen, she's not my kind of horse. Winning those 2 races impressively at big prices, and now she's the morning line favorite as she steps up in class. Not for me, but that last race, if she runs that figure back, she's going to win.
You and I've always liked Karen. I do wonder about the mile. And I realized that last time out, she was coming off a little bit of a layoff, and I think she was in a tougher grade stage.
She was.
My Lady Curlin's in very good form. She came back to win the Grade 2 Falls City with a 91 Beyer. But Karen kind of got loose that day. I didn't see that many excuses other than she was in a little bit too tough.
Yeah.
Now, she's been through the auction ring since then. I think they might have got a bargain on her as a potential broodmare prospect at the very least. They bought her for $180,000.
Okay.
She has ability. The mile worries me.
It worries me a little bit too. I just really like her. I'm a fan of hers, especially last year. As a 4-year-old, I just thought she got really, really good last year. I can't say that I like her form quite as much this year. It feels like maybe she didn't carry that good form forward, but she's got a race in her that's going to make her tough in here.
Cookie Dough ran some big races at Gulfstream over the spring, when last handled by Stanley Gold, second in the Devona Dale, third in the Gulfstream Oaks. Big effort, I thought, in the Black Eyed Susan. Mile Lace just too far for her. She went very fast early, and she was trying on to the end of that race. I think that race took some of the starch out of her, because she seemed to struggle in her 3 races with Kieran in New York. Last time out in against Talk Vuv to me, who we know is okay. She actually came back, ran second in the Presque Isle Downs Masters on synth with an 86 Beyer. She's been in against good horses. Guarana, Royal Charlotte, Point of Honor, Geltrin. Listen, if she gets loose in here, she can make them pay.
Yeah, if she gets loose, I suppose that she could be tough in here. I can't say I'm as big a fan of hers as maybe some other people are. They've gotten a lot out of her. She's multiple graded stakes plays. The mile is a good distance for her. She has speed. All those things are fine. Even getting back in Stanley Gold's barn might actually be good for her because that feels like that's where all her good races were. I'm just not that big a fan of hers, Dan. I don't like her that much, especially at 7-2 on the line.
She's run well fresh in the past. And I wouldn't be surprised if he gets bet even more despite the layoff, returning to Stanley Gold's barn. But take a look at our top selections for this year's Grade 3 Rampart Stakes. I think Baccarat Fashion's not going to be the favorite. Maybe I'm wrong. I think she's going to drift off of that 5-2. I think folks are going to see options, horses that with legitimate graded stakes caliber form. We'll see how good she is. I wouldn't want to take her at 5-2, but I think if she goes off at 7-2 or 4-1, I take a little bit of a shot. You like Molto Bello. That's my second pick and a horse I have to use in multis.
Yeah, I just feel like she makes a lot of sense in this race. We'll see how they wind up betting it, because I'm with you. I don't think I'd bet Molto Bello at too short of a price, but they have her, I think, pretty fair on the morning line. We'll see how they bet it. You know, again, Baccarat Fashion. I don't want to be way against her. She's just not my kind of horse.
We kick off a 50-cent pick 4 at Gulfstream on Saturday with race 8, the Grade 3 Rampart. Approximate post time 3:30 Eastern. Good luck.